Okay, guys. Yeah. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, ma'am.
We'll just start this session. Allow me a second. I'll just share my screen. Let me know, is my screen is visible?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So we are done till deep learning and what are the variety of algorithms that we have in deep learning yesterday. So we'll just look into. Do you want me to give a quick revise on yesterday's class, or should I?
Yeah. Yes,
Yep.
ma'am.
Okay. So we just looked into what is data science, where data is refers to some raw fact. It might be in type of text or images or numbers or videos, or there are the cases where it might be the structure, and there are the cases where it might not be in a structure format. So it's all about the data. Coming to the science, it's all the implementations or the algorithms that we took to implement certain things on a data will falls under this science here. And the next thing that we looked, why we are using only Python, especially in all the industries, why it Python is a only preferable language for the data science, as it has ease of use, vast ecosystem, and flexibility as well as interpretability. We are preferring just because of these features. Python is very useful in the industry for the data science regular day-to-day tasks. And we looked into the data visualization. Okay, we have been implemented everything, like we are making certain analysis, but the data should be represented in an easy way to understand for each and every person who doesn't know what is data science and what are the things going on. So to represent the thing in an easy way, easy understandable to the people, we are representing our data in some or other graphical representation. It might be any particular type of plots. It might be like charts, plots, or any diagram. We'll be looking into various types of graphical representations when we enter into the data visualization concepts. I'll explain you that. And we looked into data science, what is math and EDE, deep learning, ML, as well as AI. So we also looked into the math as well as stats, where math and stats refers to here data science. Sorry, for math and stats, we are using data analysis, probability and uncertainty, statistical modeling, as well as hypothesis. As we looked into why we are making certain analysis, what are the probability chances of uh, getting a stock price increase in next month. So for this type of task here, we are looking into math and stat, and we are implementing the same methodologies in a real world scenarios. Coming to the ML, it's a subfield of AI where machine learning is all about training the machine whatever the information that we have. Suppose if you want to train a machine by showing a particular object, between the differences between a mobile and tablet, or else cat or a dog, if I took animals, something like that. So for that, I'll be taking a collection of data, I'll pre-process it, I'll have a model selection here, I'll be going with the model training, I'll be selecting with the model evaluation, and then the final step is deployment here. We looked into the types of machine learning algorithms, where we have lots of algorithms like supervised, unsupervised, reinforcement, and semi supervised learning. So coming to supervised, it's a training on with labeled data. Unsupervised is all about training the model on an unlabeled data. When you look into the semi supervised learning here, it will something like it will be considering with the model is getting trained by labeled as well as unlabeled data. Coming to the reinforcement learning here, this particular model will be working on trial and error basis. In the sense, it's gonna give a trial how the algorithm is working. What is our output? If it checks for the output and it look into the what type of errors it are getting, and I'm sorry, and again it gonna start training the method. And if it got error, again it take with the new input. So it's a reinforcement and learning is a continuous learning, continuous training of a machine learning algorithm here. Next, we looked into the what is deep learning. As I mentioned, deep learning is all about just training like a human brain. As we are like when we are kids, how our parents used to teach us what is the object, what is the differences between the object, and slowly without mentioning without they mentioning about all the objects, we are able to recognize the differences between each and every object. So in the same way, deep learning models will gonna work. If we train a little bit differences, it start learning. It has an ability to automatically learn what are the hierarchical representations of that particular data. So this is all about deep learning, how it gonna train. When you go with the variety of algorithms, they are like FNN, CNN, RNN, GAN, encoders, transform models. So here there are a lot more things. If you go with F and N, where the they consist of an input layer, one or like more hidden layers, and one output layer. And coming to the CNN, it's a image and video analysis. If you took RNN, we also discussed a few examples like such as time series, text, as well as speech. If you go with GAN, we had discussed about there are two types of network, generator and discriminator. We discussed about an example of what is the difference between real videos, real images, real audios with fake videos, something like that. And coming to the auto encoders here, these are like unsupervised learning. I'm sorry, where it gonna help in having an application task like image denoising, anomaly detection, as well as data compression. So when you go with the transform models, we have an example of language translation. For this, we discussed about Duolingo application, text summarization. For this, we discussed about in short as well as way to news applications. And for question and answering, we discussed about ChatGPT and other AI tools like Perplexity.ai or Julius.ai. There are a lot more tools for like LLM model tools. So these are all comes under deep learning, how the model is getting trained here. So guys, is it clear till now or do you have any queries?
No, ma'am. All clear.
Okay. I'll just explain what is NLP here. Coming to the NLP, it stands for Natural Language Processing. It is also a subfield of an AI and computational linguistics that gonna focus on the interaction between a computer and a human language. NLP, what it is doing is it is acting as a bridge between a computer as well as human language, where it gonna involves in the development of lots of algorithms as well as models to enable how the computer is gonna understand what the human is passing and how it is getting interpreted and generate human language in a way that is meaningful and as well as useful. For this, I'll give a little example. Does a computer understand any of our languages like Telugu, Hindi, English, or anything? It doesn't.
No.
Yeah. So, what we are giving is A will be notified for all the alphabet, there will be some numbers. It gonna take those numbers and it gonna take it as those numbers are going converted into 0 and 1. Those 0 and 1s only can be understood by the computer. So Once it has been understand, if I pass NLP, it converts into 0 and ones. Once after it converts, it doesn't reply us in a format of our required language. It again provides the information in 0 and ones. Once it has been provided in the middle, it gonna convert the data, and that data is gonna representing us in a format of human understandable language. Either it might be the English, Telugu, or Hindi, whatever the required language that we are putting. So this is how the machine is gonna understand, and it is generating human understandable language here. In this particular NLP, we have text classifying, name entity recognition, sentiment analysis, machine translations, information extraction, questioning and answering, text summarization, chatbots, as well as virtual assistants. Coming to the text classification here, I'll give another example of, of this. Mm, if I take any e-commerce site, it might be any e-commerce site. If I took a particular e-commerce site here, so in that e-commerce site, I'll order a product. If for example, I might be ordering some HP laptop. So in this case, what it happened is, a user, I open that laptop and I will be using that laptop. What I feel is, I feel like, if I took those particular laptop, general HP laptop for gaming purpose, what I think is, it's not that speed the laptop is. So I'll be giving a review of, so I'm sorry. I'll be giving a review of the computer, like the laptop is not good. I'll be giving I'm sorry. I'll be giving a review of bad here. And if I takes the same laptop for the general purpose, I'll be giving a review of good or excellent. If I take a purpose of programming something, I'll be having a neutral experience with the laptop. So what I'll be giving is, I'll be giving a neutral review. So the first one, we have, one is like excellent, one is good, one is bad. So I'm sorry. So in this case, what it is happening is, I'm giving three types of reviews here. So the firm people who are putting those products there, they'll be understanding what type of issues the user is facing, and what are the type of reviews that they are getting, what are the things that they need to improve. For all this, it falls under sentiment analysis. Like, uh they won't take that directly it as a good review, bad review, or excellent review. They'll be considering it as 0, 1, 2. So in that case, 0 represents some bad or something, 1 is represented with good, and 2 represent with excellent something. So in this case, after making certain analysis, that they'll be looking into the average. Not, I'm not only the person who will be purchasing this particular laptop. There are a lot more people who will be purchasing. They'll be making an analysis on an average, how many people has been provided feedback, and how it is, what is the average of good review, excellent review, and also bad review. So making certain type of analysis falls under sentiment analysis here. The the reviews that we are placing to, for any product or for any service, it doesn't restrict it to only product, it might be any service or any other things. Spam detection is something, uh, if I take an example of email, I'll be getting, like, if I go with some random sites, if I want to look for any products, I'll be getting, purchase these advertisements and everything I'll be getting. And also there are a lot more spam emails where, where I'll be getting lot, fake things. So to detect these, what Gmail is doing, it is taking an you know s- it is considering what is a proper email address domain it contains, what are fake domains that they have, and it also trying to detect based on a domain these people, how many emails these people are sending per day, and who are the targeted users, whether it is useful or whether it is a spam. Gmail is started detecting with this. And if you want to check it is a valid email address or not, we have lot more sites where you can go and provide that particular email address and can check whether it is a proper email address or a invalid email address. The next one is topic classification in the same way, which is better. Like if I got an email from an any HR, it doesn't fall with the spam emails most probably. Again, it depends. If there are like lots of spam report, like spam reports on that particular email address, there might be the chances where it got falls in the spam. But most of the cases it doesn't, and it also based on upon the type of the no firm that we are getting, and what type of domains that they are carrying. It all also like falls under topic classification is something it get understand what type of email it is, and it gonna classify it to different, like as I mentioned, from which people we are getting. Is it is spam or it is a valid email? If it is a valid email, if we have selection of categories, like if I got any emails from HR, I should fall in this particular box. And if I have got some emails from educational institutions, it should fall under this particular inbox criteria. If I set up with this on the basis of topic classification, the email is gonna get fall under that particular bucket. The next one is NER. NER falls with identifying as well as extracting named entities from text, such as like name of the people, organization, location, or dates. Here, NER refers to, it's just gonna identify what are the set of people we have, and it's gonna extract what are the named entities that we are getting from those texts. It might be the people names, or it might be the organizations, location, or date, whatever it might be. Coming to the sentiment analysis here, as we already discussed about, it's determining about the sentiment or opinion expressed in a piece of text, whether it is a positive, negative, or neutral. As I mentioned, good review, bad review, or an excellent review. So based on that, the sentiment analysis is gonna work. Machine translation, we already discussed about converting one text language to other text language. Suppose by providing the English language, I want to know about Japanese. So based on that, from one language to the other language, the machine is getting translated about our data. This is how the machine translation work. It also include language detection. If I just provided some random language, I don't know what the language refers to, even which language it refers to. In that case, what I'll do is I'll just give my text, it gonna detect what language it is. Language modeling, and also generating coherent translations, whatever the required translation, it is gonna getting generated here. The next thing is coming to information extraction. It's a structured information from the unstructured text, such as like extracting relations, events, or facts from the news articles. In the sense, what type of news we have. uh, I'll give a little example of mm, yeah no if you took like movies, uh, yeah not movies, we can take an example of this you know news channels. when they are providing any videos or something like any news regarding, if it is a politic news, they just project those people faces and everything video. But what if the case, if it is like some criminal case, and they wanna there will be the some sensitive information, if it is some like murder or something, in that case they can't show that images of the person who died there. It shouldn't be, because there are lots of people who are gonna watch that particular channel at the same time. They might be the kids, they might be the adults, they might be the elders, they might be the old people. Everyone can take those images in a positive way. If you have been like reminding those images multiple times, they can't take those things directly. In those cases, they have to know what type of things they have to project openly, and what should hide. If it is like some blood stain, something like that, they'll just hide without showing that image completely, they'll make it as a blur. So in such a way, the next thing is we have question and answering. No, as developing system that can also understand question posted in a natural language. Suppose if I go to Google and I'll be providing what is data science, what is NLP. If I didn't even frame the question in a proper way, what is NLP, I'll just give NLP. It understand and it provide it's a natural language processing. At the same time, where I didn't mention anything about like what is NLP in data science or something like that, if any abbreviation will if it got matched with NLP, it even start providing the information of those. So when I go with the question and answering, I'll be getting lots of information, which includes reading the comprehensions, question generation, and question answering systems here. The next one is text summarization. We also discussed generating concise summaries of long documents or articles, capturing the key information as well as main points. So if I have an 100 pages of documentation here, it's very tough for me to go into each and every page and to go whole 100 pages of documentation. When I use this text summarization, we can capture only the important things like key information and a main point, just like a bullet points. We can get everything in at 5 to 10 pages. In that case, I'll just go to the main content, what it refers to. If I'm okay and if I want to know in detail about the concept, I'll just jump into the rest pages. If the information is necessary and if it's sufficient for me, I'll just stop it here. So we can't waste our time putting lots of effort in reading. This is one of the major reason of text summarization here. I'm sorry. The next thing we have it as chatbots as well as virtual assistant. So whenever we are nowadays, when we are opening any site, we are getting a virtual assistant beside like at the bottom. How may I can assist you? So what it is doing, it's a limited to that particular website, and it is limited even to certain questions. There are lots of types of chatbots that we have, virtual assistants we have, but the thing is that it's if I go with the banking sector, I'll be getting how may I have to help you. I'll be asking for what are the services that you are providing. It might be giving saving account, current account, something like that. I'll be choosing with current account. If I choose the current account, it will be giving what are the requirements, something like that. So it's a understanding what a human needs in a basic way and day to day requirements in that particular website, and it is having a conversation with a user in an easy way. And so here it is creating the conversation agent that can understand and can also respond to user queries and also engage natural language conversations here. Is it clear what is NLP here?
Yes, ma'am. I have one question.
Yeah, please.
Uh, which types of questions will ask interview on the NLP part?
Which type of questions, in the sense, if we go into concept of NLP algorithms and everything, it's better for you to understand what type of questions that you will be getting, and
Yes.
also make sure what type of job application that you are applying. In a
Hmm.
data science, it doesn't restrict it to you will be no, in every project they are using NLP. There
Hmm.
are lots of roles. If you go with a data science job, you will be working from data cleaning to, not data cleaning, from the data collection to you will be working till deployment by yourself itself. And
Hmm.
if there are chances where we have ML engineering, NLP engineering, deep learning engineering, and there are a lot more sub roles, it's gonna get divided. If you
Hmm.
choose with that, then the criteria of getting the questions is definitely differ from the one which we have.
Yes, ma'am. Can you please add some slides of the questions which interviewer commonly asks in the PowerPoint presentation?
Yeah, sure, I'll be adding that. But before that, I should explain you what exactly the NLP and what are the algorithms it contains. Before that, if I explain you something regarding, I'll give a little, question of an interview. If I ask you define tokenization and steaming, can you answer in this case what exactly it refers to?
No.
So before that, if I explain what is tokenization, what is
Yes. Yes.
steaming, and then if I provided with the interview questions, it will be
Hmm.
easy for you to understand what exactly it refers to and you can answer.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'll be providing in a step by step way, definitely. I'll be providing with the interview questions, and also I'll be providing you with the required sites where you can refer, and you can get lots of like thousands of interview questions that you can come across those sites. I'll be providing with those, definitely.
Yes. Okay, ma'am.
But before that, I have to explain you what is what in that.
Yes.
Now you just know what is NLP. That's it. If I provided, with any interview questions, it's tough to understand what exactly those refers to for you. And if I directly even jump into what is tokenization without explaining the basics of that, it's even tough for you to understand.
Now, ma'am, for upcoming slides, I suggest that.
Yeah, sure, definitely. See, once after completion of the concept, I'll be providing with that.
Yes.
If I
Yes.
provide it
Okay,
in the
ma'am.
middle, it's tough to understand for everyone.
Yes. Yes. Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. So that, sorry, are you clear with this, or else do you have any other queries on this? Anyone else, please?
No. No, ma'am.
The next one we have is, I'll just brief in a little thing what is AI, ML, deep learning. Here, AI is all about ability of a machine to imitate intelligence of an human behavior. How a human is. If I, for example, we can take the robots here, it gonna understand how the human is doing, and it is pre-processing the input that it got, and it's starting behaving like a human. Nowadays, in all the restaurants, everyone is preferring, like most of the restaurants are preferring with robots. So what it is taking, it is providing the menu for the people, and if they order something, it gonna understand, and it is getting pre-processed, and then it is getting those required items for those people. So this is how AI gonna works in here. And coming to the ML, it's all about the applications of AI that allows a system to automatically learn and improve from the experience. And coming to the deep learning, as we discussed, it's an application of ML which uses complex algorithms and deep neural nets to train a particular model. The last thing, okay, I have got my data, I've collected data collection, I pre-processed it, I make certain analysis on that, everything is done. Finally, we need to deploy the model into any server for a client that we are providing. We can't provide the code to the client. We have to provide and output what we are getting from those analysis that we made. So here we are looking into AWS SageMaker. AWS refers to Amazon Web Services, which is fully managed with machine learning services. AWS SageMaker is like fully managed with the machine learning services provided by Amazon Web Services. It's gonna design to simplify the process, building, training, and also deploying of machine learning models at scale. Here it gonna offers with and all the tools and services gonna support with entire machine learning process. At the same time, from the data preparation as well as model training till deployment and to make whole analysis, there are lots of key capabilities and the features that we have in AWS SageMaker. We'll just look into what are those. Data preparation is something, this particular SageMaker gonna provide all the data scientists as well as developers with tools for data exploration, transformation, and also feature engineering. And it's gonna support with various formats and gonna integrate with AWS data storage services like Amazon S3 for efficient data access here. And coming to the model training, it gonna allow us to train machine learning models by using algorithms, and it is popular open source frameworks. And it can also manage, it provides like manageable scalable infrastructure and for distributing training and also enabling you to train large data set at multiple instances. I'll give a whole example for AWS SageMaker how it gonna work actually. So, if I take with my Jupyter notebook or any IDE platform from Anaconda, or if I take Google Colab, so what it happening is there is restricted. Like if I took with the general Jupyter notebook, which we generally use, so for this, what it is happening is, uh, if I wanna run a batch size of 100, it takes approximately 8 to 9 hours, and I have to look into that whether it is kernel is working or not, whether it is disconnecting or not. If I go with any collab, Google Colab, something like that, there are the cases when I take with the TPU selection, we can complete those tasks in 3 to 4 hours. But what if I go with AWS SageMaker is, without my interaction, if I put my model in AWS bucket, it it automatically consider the batch size, and it pre-process and will be getting delivered with our output. I don't need to look into that multiple times. The server has that. When we start, and if we start running all the cells, and if we left that, even though the process will be continuously working in the back end. So this is how the SageMaker gonna work. If you go with Jupyter Notebook or any collab, you had to be in front of that and you have to look what is going on. If something went wrong, you have to look into that again and you have to start the kernel and start working. But coming to the SageMaker, why we are preferring server deployment tools is just because of it's a cloud based where it gonna automatically run our projects without an interruptions. This is how AWS SageMaker that we are preferring. We also have like Flask. There are a lot more deployment tools that we have. I'm sorry. So the next thing that we have here is hyperparameter optimization, where this particular SageMaker includes capabilities of automatic hyperparameter tuning, and it automates the process of finding best combination of hyperparameters of a given model. In a sense here, this particular model is gonna get trained finding the best combination, and it also improves the performance and accuracy. Coming to the model deployment, as the model is getting trained, this particular SageMaker is going to deploy and also it host itself into the scalable web service here. It provides managing, auto scaling, load balancing, as I discussed about a batch size of 100, monitoring capabilities. We can also create some real time endpoint. We can also set up in such a way at some certain cell of 100, I want to stop my project running. So if I want to set up in such a way, I can do that in AWS SageMaker. And also I can monitor what it is going on, does we got any deviations in a real time, how it is helping in the model quality and interventions, how it is raising the issues panel. Coming to the versioning and management here, I'll be having my SageMaker where it is going to be providing with all the version controls and management capabilities. See, if I go with any IDE platforms of Anaconda, they are the cases where I need to upgrade my version, or sometimes I need to downgrade my version. But coming to the AWS, whatever the version we are taking, it looks into that and it make according to the usage and keep track of different versions of models, and also it compare the performance and also manage the life cycle of those models here. As coming to the integration here, it gonna integrate with other AWS services such as like AWS Lambda, step functions, Glue, which enables us to build end-to-end machine learning pipelines, and it gonna leverage broader ecosystem here. This is all about AWS. Till now, we just looked into what exact a basic thing, what is data science, what it refers to, what we the programming language that we are preferring, and what exactly ML NLP deep learning refers to, and what is the deployment. So we just looked into the basics of these things. Let me know if you have any questions here.
Ma'am, any data science using AWS services?
No, it doesn't. No, limited, restricted with AWS. There are like lots of cloud platforms like Azure. If you go with client top projects, they'll be using Azure AWS. If you go with the generalized projects, you can use a Flask, and there are like lot more tools that we have. Heroku deployment you can go with.
If we learn the AWS and in company they are using Azure, then they will give the training for that.
See, those are everything is similar. If you know one particular deployment tool, it's not same, but those are like similar. You can't learn, all the deployment tools definitely, because there are the cases in my current project which I'm working. There are the cases where sometimes we'll be using Azure, sometimes we'll be working with AWS.
Okay.
So it doesn't restrict. Sometimes we just go with the general deployment of Flask even. So
Mhm.
it's not restricted that we'll be using only basic AWS or something. We'll be
Means
using lot.
in small scale companies they are using AWS, and in large scale company they are using another Azure.
No, not like that.
No. Okay.
Even AWS services are a bit costly.
Mhm. Okay,
Yes.
ma'am.
Yeah. 1 second. I'll share my screen and I'll explain you one more thing here. Mm, Amazon, like AWS and Azure are paid ones, and if you go with Flask and these things, it's not a paid. You can use for free. But the
Okay.
thing is, like, we need to look into the data securities and everything. There are a
Mm.
lot more things we need to look for this.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
In the upcoming sessions, we are going to learn first Python, then machine learning, then deep learning, and then NLP part. Is
Yeah.
it right?
Yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
And once after completion of Python explanation, NumPy and Pandas, I'll provide what are the interview questions that we generally come across over that.
Yes.
And once after completion of ML, I'll be providing those. Once after completion of deep learning, parallelly in such a way.
Okay, thank you.
Because if I provided ML questions at the beginning itself, it's tough to understand for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Before, if you know the concept, it's easy to understand. If you are not sure about the concept, it definitely be tough to understand.
Okay. Uh, we have to install the Jupyter for this.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm just opening that to explain you
Okay.
installation process.
Yes.
Let me know, is my screen is visible for that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So, to install this particular Python here, we need to search with anaconda.org in a Chrome. You will be getting this particular Anaconda cloud. Once if you clicked on that, you'll be routing to this particular page, http anaconda.org. You'll be getting download Anaconda. If you click it here, the next step that we are getting, what is the Python version that you want. It's a 3.6 it is reflecting, but make sure if it what exactly the version currently we have. There are the cases, you know, if I put it as 1 month back, if some other new version has been released, the new version might be reflecting here. It's not restricted that you'll be finding only 3.6 version. You can download with anything. The preferable is always the updated one, and you can
Okay.
select what type of bit we have, either it is 64-bit or 32-bit. You have to select based on your operating system that you have. Once after, you'll be, if you clicked on this particular download, you'll be getting, downloaded in such a way with anaconda exe dot file. If you click, once it has been processed, you will be getting a auto pop up, welcome to anaconda in such a way. If it is 64-bit, you will be routing like 64-bit here, and it is showing next option. Go with the next, and go with I agree license agreement. And if you are using just for you, as you are, like, you are using only for your sake, it's a single use person, go with the just me option. If you go with the like companies, you can go with the all users here, but it's not necessary. You can just go with just me option here, and you can click on next. The, if you select the it automatically provides one destination folder. And make sure if you are okay with that, you can leave that. And if you want to change that, you can click on browse, and you can go to, referred particular path that you have a requirement, and you can select those. The next thing is you can process for the installation. Once it has been done, it will be asking for you add anaconda in a path variable or not. Make sure to check this particular box, and please don't make, miss of this. If you add this, you won't be, getting environmental issues here. It's easy to, go with the program. And you can just proceed with installation. And once after completion of anaconda installation, it will be processing in this way. You can go to next option to finish the installation here. Once the installation has been finished, you can go to the type here search bar. You can open with by searching Anaconda. You will be routing this to this particular Anaconda navigator page, where you can launch Jupyter Notebook. It's not restricted that you have to work only on Jupyter Notebook. You can also go with Jupyter Labs, Spider, and all we have like Orange or Studio and everything. But the preferable, like what I say is, if you are a new to the you know code, it's better to go with the Jupyter Notebook because it's bit easy to understand the flow. Once if you are okay, if you are getting flexibility with the working with the code, you can choose other platforms. But the other thing which is better is Spider. It has a lot more features when you compare with VS Code or PyCharm. You can also look into the variables beside that. I'll definitely show you one day how the Spider works even. So the if you go with advanced, it's better to go with the Spider, the preferable thing. Next, you will be redirecting to certain page where you will be having your desktop files, documents, and everything. From here, you can just, I'll show you the page. So this is my page that I'll be getting. From this, if I wanna know, if I wanna open certain page of uh, basics of Python, I'll be getting open in such a way. So this is how the installation process and how you can open this particular Jupyter notebook. Do you have any queries here?
Yes, ma'am. Yesterday I installed the Jupyter Notebook.
Okay.
Whenever we click on the launch button, is it compulsory to open in Microsoft Edge only? Can we open it in Firefox or Chrome?
I think you might has been set up with the default with Microsoft Edge. Might that reason is reflecting whenever you are opening certain thing, it directly wrote into Microsoft Edge, I
Ma'am,
think.
how to change that setting? Can you please explain?
Okay. Just allow me a moment. I did it long back in settings. I need to check where that option is available.
Okay.
Mm, 1 second. For settings. Okay. You can go with the control panel once, and if you looked into the default programs, you will be finding what are the things that you have.
Okay. I will look.
1 second. If I found that, I'll show you. Mhm. System. Yeah. If you go with the control panel, you will be having an option of looking into the what are the default programs that you have. In that, if you can have for web browser, what are the default thing that you can choose. If you selected with the Chrome, it will start working directly, opening with Chrome itself.
Okay, ma'am.
And if you browse, you'll be getting routed from which icon you have to route even. You can find
Hmm.
those information. So guys, does anyone has any doubts in the installation process? Okay, seems to be no. I'm just jumping to the next thing.
Ma'am, please share the installation video.
Yeah, sure. I'll be sharing the PPT as well as those things.
Okay.
Yeah. As we looked into the installation process, 1 second, I'll be opening with the other thing. Are you able to see this Word document of Python intro?
Yes, ma'am.
So in a Python, what we are looking is we looked into what is Python. We I'll explain applications and use case. I explained you the installation process, how you will be interacting with the Jupyter notebook, and I'll prepare a document for Jupyter notebook, how you can use that particular document, like how you add comments and rest of the features for that, and how you can run Python code by using interactive shells. I'll just provide this document and I'll show you in the next class. Coming to the Python basics, we'll be looking into syntax, till understanding comments and indentation. We'll look into the control flow, conditional statements, function and modules, data structure intro, file handling. These are all the things. I'll explain you this parallelly for each and everything. I'll explain you the code, how we generally work. Before that, I'll explain you what exactly the syntax and structure refers to in such a way. Is it fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And some basic questions are asked by the interviewer, such as like print the string reverse or
Sure, I'll be
yeah.
providing those parallelly. At the
Yes,
same
ma'am.
time, once after I'll explain you, you can parallelly refer to certain sites of lead code and hacker rank. There you will be able to find lot more coding questions actually. If I
Okay.
explain you, I'll be providing with 10 or 15 in our class. But if
Yes,
you
ma'am.
prefer them, you'll be finding hundreds and thousands of questions there. If you started solving from the day one, even it's
Mm.
easy for you till you complete the course.
Yes.
If you want, I'll be providing, if you want, I'll just provide the links of those parallelly.
Mm.
You can refer to those sites. Just go with the basic one first, and once after clearance of like cleared with the basic, then just go with the mid-level questions and then jump to the advanced level.
Yes, ma'am.
And if you when you are trying, if you have any queries, just let me know in the next class, I'll explain you.
Okay.
Sorry, one second. So here, intro to the Python is something as we everyone know that it's a high level encrypted programming language, just based off simplicity and readability, versatility that we have with the Python. We are preferring this language for the data science task. We know that it's a basic thing that we know that Guido van Rossum is the first released. He released it is in 1991, where it has been gained immense popularity in these recent years due to its beginner-friendly syntax as well as extensive range of applications that we have. Here, coming to the what are the key characteristics of this particular Python include is we already looked readability. I explained you versatility, last standard library as it has vast ecosystem of libraries. It's easy to understand and to get all the data in an easy way without defining integer as int here. We looked into the interrupted, it gonna execute line by line, where the enables to the developers easily can write as well as test the code quickly without having a manual compilation here. Cross platform compatibility, it has it works with the Windows, Mac, Linux platform, where it allows to write the developer code once, and the same code with the little modifications will be getting worked in all the different platforms. As we know that it finds in a wide range of applications including web development, data analysis, scientific computing, AI, ML, automation, scripting, and we have lot more things where this particular Python language is getting supported. And it also popularity having extensive community support that have led to development of numerous third party libraries, I'm sorry, and the frameworks such as Django, Flask, NumPy Pandas, TensorFlow, PyTorch to expand its capabilities even further. And we'll definitely look into all these libraries in our classes. Overall, the Python, as I mentioned, it has been simplicity, versatility, as it has lots of ecosystem to have a beginner can easily start this particular program. So if you go with applications and use case, I explained about the installation process of Python. So choosing an idea is depending upon our choice, whatever you can take that. It might be the VS Code or PyCharm or Atom. If you have been already used any particular IDE, it's fine. You can just go with that and use. Coming to a package management, here whatever the installation is there, if you are installing in the IDE platform, you have to use pip install the package name. If it is pandas, you have to use pip install pandas. If it is numpy, pip install numpy as np, something like that. If you are going with command prompt or terminal, in that case you have to go with anaconda option. and Sorry, not anaconda, you will be using conda install pandas, something like that. Conda install numpy, but the preferable is always install it in an IDE to avoid environmental issues and also version issues. Next, we can explore the libraries as we familiar with using like basic things of NumPy and Pandas. We can examples we can include, for NumPy is numerical computing, Pandas for data analysis, Flask is for web development, and Cyclone is for machine learning. Flask even we will be using for deployment tools parallelly. It's not restricted only for web development. Identification of use case is something we are determining the specific problem what you want to solve here, what type of project you have, either it might be analysis or machine learning or automation or scripting. And coming to the writing of code, we'll be starting code with the Python application where we have been chosen. We'll be using relevant all the libraries as well as frameworks which can implement in the required functionality for a use case. Testing and debug can be happened in the same IDE platform. Deploying of our application will be happening, no, depending upon the hosting services or any cloud platform that we choose here. The next thing is maintaining and optimizing. We regularly update and maintain what are the code bases that we have, and we look into the compatibility of the latest versions here and also the libraries. Coming to the Python syntax as well as structure here. Here Python uses indentations. Usually it will be using with a four spaces to define certain block of code instead of curly braces or the delimiters consistently what is the crucial or proper code execution as well as readability. And we'll be using hash for the comment. For assigning value, we can just take one variable x or a b or it might be anything, we can assign the value. Variables and data types, don't worry, in a tomorrow's class I'll just explain all these conditions, how we assign, how we comment in a Jupyter notebook itself. Before that, I'm just giving a little overview what are the different things that we have in a Python. From tomorrow, we'll just work everything in a code. I'll explain you there. To show you the basic differences, what are the things that we have, I'm just explaining it here. And for, as I mentioned, integer, float, string, boolean, I'll be showing all this thing in a Jupyter notebook. Give me a second, I'll just show you how I can basics of Python. Yeah, this is one. So if you go with adding of two integers, I just provided a equals to b equals to, and I want to add a plus b. Mm, and I'm just printing my c value. If I want to go with minus, I'll be going with minus. If I want to do an multiplication of this is my multiplication. If I want to do division, if I want to do modular division, I'll be showing an example. If I want to add strings here, till now I added two numbers, or one integer and one float I have been added. I want to add my integers. How can I add them? If I wa- After I've been adding single number a equals to b equals to, what if I have my list? What if I have my tuple? What if I have my dictionary? How I can merge them, how I can add them, how I can unpack, how I can add new key value pairs to my dictionary, increment values using set default, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulo division. What is the difference between division and modulo division? Integer division, exponentation, square root, absolute values, negation unary minus, condition statements, as we just looked in a Python about if condition what we have. Loops, for loop as well as while loop, explaining of the function that adds two numbers and returns the results. How we'll be defining a particular function with conditional logic. Here I just defined a basic function. Here we'll just look into the conditional logic. How we using even functions, creating of numpy arrays, all these things. There are a lot more features that we have. So here, as I mentioned, variables and data types. Variables in a Python, it refers to dynamically typed, where you don't have any specific variable type explicitly. I'm not, when I provided x equals to 10, I don't have it is an integer or it might be the float. I'm not defining it as explicitly. Default thing is taking that it's an, what type of data type that we have here. So these are all this is an integer, this is the float value, this is a string, true or false is a boolean. This is my list. It always defined with the square bracket. Dictionary, curly braces that I'll be giving. Tuple, it will be giving with the general braces. Control flow statements are something Python provides the control flow statements like if, for, and while here, where it gonna exist, execute in such a way. If condition, I'll be having some code. Else block, for item in conditions, I'll be having my while condition. Functions parallelly, I'll be having my function in a Python where it allows us to encapsulate reusable the particular block of code which are defined using def keyword and can take rest of the parameters and it can return those values. And these functions have a benefit. If I define greet name here, I can use this particular function in all, like, whole over my project. It doesn't restrict it to the block of code which I have been mentioned here. It's not restricted in such a way. That's the best use of functions in Python. If you go with module and packages, it has modular structure which allows us to organize my code and to separate modules as well as packages. Suppose if I want to import a module, I'll import math. From this particular math, I want a specific function I want to import. So what I do is from math, I'll just import, I want only square root. I'll import that. From module, within an alias, I want to import this import numpy package as np. From this package, if I want something, I have to define my package name with a module name here. This is how we can import the packages. What is the case if I doesn't have this numpy at all? I can go with pip install numpy. I'll be getting those, and from there I can import these libraries. I'll be showing definitely in a code. I'll show it in the coming classes. And these are just basic fundamental aspects of what the syntax and everything, and more. There are lots of features like including object oriented programming, exception handling, file input output, and exploring into the Python documentation. I'll be explaining what, from the official documentation, how we will be looking into various libraries and their features, how it gonna even work actually. Allow me a second, I'll be showing it now. See, this is the official Python documentation, how we are defining a function and what are the syntax we have, how the warnings has been thrown, what is the motivation of that, what's the background, syntax forms, syntax alternatives, what is the current syntaxes that we have here. There are a lot more things. If we if we are unsure about anything, we can refer to these documentations. Documentation. One second, I'll be showing one more thing. See, as I mentioned, pandas and NimePy, the current version that we have, it recently, released one is 2.1.4. I'll be having here a zipped documentation. You can also refer to that. And what are the previous versions that we have? For that, we can refer here, and we have certain links. What these all getting supported. If you are new to pandas, you can check out the starter guide here. You'll be having those how we can use the starter guide we have. What are the API references? Development guide. If I go with the next option, see, if I go with the Anaconda terminal, you have to install with Conda install that particular package. But what if I go with any IDE directly, like Jupyter or PyCharm or Spider? The thing is that we can just install, pip install pandas, pip install numpy in such a way. So if you go with instructions, here you'll be having what kind of data does the pandas handle. You'll be having a data frame here, what is the column, what is the row. You'll be having a user. These are the ways how the data is getting readed and how it is gonna make to that text here. How do I select a subset of the table? Here you'll be having an information of that. Here intro tutorial will be there. At the same time, you will be having a user guide, how we'll be creating a plots. See, we can't, there are like there are a lot more things, we can't discuss each and everything. You can refer to these things. If you have any doubt, you can let me know. I'll try to cover almost everything, but there are the cases where, if I explain you pandas today and if we jump to some other case, if something new has been released, we can't go back and we can't look into this. So those are the cases. But it's always preferable thing is go with what whenever you got any doubt. The thing is that refer to trusted website, official websites of that particular library. And even you go with Python, so it's a preferable thing. If you refer to this, it's easy to understand. You'll be getting a proper information here, instead of having, you'll be having started tutorials for all these things. You can even refer to them. It's easy to understand how we reshape the layouts of the table, how we combine multiple tables. We'll be having all those informations here. Even though till we when we work on something, if we come across any new thing, we definitely even refer to all these sites itself. Every day, whatever the task we perform in a real time, if we got stuck at any point, or if we need some information with updated libraries or something, we refer to all these documentations parallelly. How you deal with the time series data here? We'll be having time series HTML. You can look into these things.
If when we install the Jupyter, by default pandas numpy libraries come into that.
Yeah, few libraries will be coming, and they are the cases where you'll be not finding all the libraries. In that case, we have to manually install by going with pip. What I prefer is go with pip install in Jupyter or like IDE platform which we are using. If you go with Conda installation, you need to make sure about the environment variables, path, and everything. It's bit tough to get at this case. And you need to also make sure the versions that you have been installing, they are the cases I mentioned you before. They are the cases where if you install with Python the latest version, few libraries, like few sub libraries, will be getting supported and few doesn't support. We might be getting pandas is not available, something like that, errors. I'll be explaining definitely what type of errors you'll be getting and how to deal with those errors parallelly. When you see, when we got this type of errors, we definitely have to look into documentation of websites. It might be like panda site or numpy site. It's the only best source where we'll be getting valuable information how we can solve that particular issue. Just because we'll be having a clear information where it's gonna clearly state what type of if pandas 2.1 has this inbuilt library or not. Do I need to update or do I need to downgrade my versions? If you do this all in Jupyter notebook, it doesn't affect on a Conda. If you go with the Conda, we need to make sure about rest of the versions of all other libraries parallelly.
Okay.
Yeah. So is this is clear till now? From
Yes, ma'am.
tomorrow, we'll just look into the code along with the concept. I'll just explain functions concept. I'll be showing you the code. Parallelly, I'll
Okay.
be doing those things.
Okay.
As this is the basic one, I just focused only on a theory part to get to know what is what at the beginning.
Hmm.
And coming to the projects, I'll be explaining you one project. And what I'll do is I'll give a task to do one project, and I'll be providing time for that depending upon the project. What I suggest is please try to work on that project. If you got stuck at any point, I'll later explain those projects again end to end. Because
Okay.
if I explain both the projects, you won't get exposure to the project how to deal. So
Mm-hmm.
what I'll be explaining, one, I'll suggest you to work on that, so
Yes.
that it's easy for you to what's the approach and what are the you know situations that you will be facing when you are working on a project. So is it clear?
Yes.
Do you have any doubts in this particular class?
No, not yet.
No, ma'am.
Yes, Srinath.
No, ma'am. No, no doubt.
Okay, thank you. Then we'll just wrap up the call here and we'll just connect tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.